Ted Galati is the owner of the Olde Pine Theatre in Pine Island. Ted, you have taken to social media with some of your frustrations throughout this lockdown, being a small business owner. I want you to explain your recent post and the issues that you're having with property taxes.
Yes. So we own the Olde Pine Theatre here in Pine Island, Minnesota, and we are a performing arts venue. You can see behind me the stage. We've been running this since 2016. And then obviously with the pandemic, we took the orders as such, and we closed the doors on March 14th after our last Johnny Cash tribute show. And we have not had a performer in the building for the theater as revenue since that date, and it's made things difficult, obviously, like other businesses that are dealing with the pandemic and the governor's orders, but it's specifically hard when you're trying to run a performing arts venue and you're told you can only run at 25% capacity, which in our case would only be 60 people in the facility, which would not make it profitable for us or the bands or the performers. So we just decided, well, we need to keep the place closed until the mask mandate and the governor orders are no longer on the table. Now with the most recent, shutter, we couldn't open if we wanted to. And it makes it really difficult trying to operate a business. To say how much money we've lost this year, I know that we're probably $10,000 in debt now, just with building expenses and keeping the building going. But as far as revenue goes, we had 17 shows planned after March 14th. I did reschedule those for mid-summer, and then we had to cancel those again. So we really just haven't brought in any revenue at all, and it makes it really difficult to run a business. And all we're asking is that they, the legislators, our representatives, our governor looks at our businesses and they say, hey, you know what? We shouldn't be charging them property tax. This is a commercial property, and I'm paying property tax on a commercial property that I'm told I can't run as a business. So it makes it really challenging for us.
Okay, throughout this pandemic, we've been hearing from small business owners who have been having the struggles and the challenges exactly like you're explaining with your business. But when we bring in property taxes into play, especially now since so many homeowners and business owners are getting their property tax statements right now, that then brings in the other angle, which is why we're talking to you about this. What is your property tax statement at, and who have you talked to? Is it on the city level? Is it on the county level? Or is this a state issue that you're really having?
Well, I did talk with Goodhue County first and foremost. Obviously, that's where we sit here in Pine Island at the Olde Pine Theatre, and they basically told me that there's no abatements. There was abatements for the first part of the year where I think we could push it out till, I think it was July. So, we made payment on that, and then we made payment on the November, or I guess it was October payment. And we're looking at, for this facility, I don't have the exact number, but I think it's between $2,500 and $3,000 in property taxes a year that we pay. And again, the only way, to generate revenue is to have shows in here. So if we're not having the shows, yet we have to pay these property taxes. I do understand, property taxes go for many, many things, but it makes it really challenging. And when talking to Goodhue County, they said, well, you can talk to the Minnesota Department of Revenue and talk to their tax department about it. And I spoke to them, and they said, well, the counties can do abatements and they can actually waive, some of these fees, but the taxes are due. So again, taxes are due. You're a business, whether you're a bar, a restaurant, an entertainment venue, any of these other, businesses that are affected by the pandemic and the shutdowns, we still got to pay our property taxes. There's even, landlords with tenants that aren't paying, and those landlords still have to pay property tax. So it's just something that I think, we need to look at, we need to discuss, and we need to see if we can do, that supports some of these businesses that are suffering through this.
So do you talk to your county commissioners, or do you have to have your state legislators involved? We do know that they are working on a relief aid package right now. Hopefully there will be some relief in there. But what happens if then they push out your property taxes so that you don't have to pay them right now? The thing is, you're eventually going to have to pay them. That's right.
Yeah, and that's the issue. I mean, even with, I know we're kind of delaying the inevitable. I mean, even with people not paying mortgages and not paying rent, at some point that's going to be due. Now, I do know that through United Way 211, I believe there's some relief for people that are behind on their mortgages and rents. But again, for a commercial property, we don't have that. We can't go to United Way and say, hey, can you bail me out? I'm behind on property tax. And, unfortunately, that's just not going to happen. And I know we're, all in this together, but we do need to support one another and obviously support local venues like us.
And support the arts. They are very important, especially we are learning that in this pandemic, how very important some of the things that take our minds off of what is going on in our day-to-day lives. The arts are very, very important. Ted, I appreciate this. Keep me posted on what's happening, and we'll see where things are at in a couple of weeks.
All right. Thank you, Betsy. It was great talking with you today.
You too. Thanks, Ted.